Welcome to the Hem Report, keeping America on track every single day. Well, folks, it looks like Planned Parenthood got caught lying again. Planned Parenthood said on Tuesday it would no longer accept reimbursement for fetal tissue donated for medical research after abortions, the women's healthcare provider said, as a response to allegations by pro-life campaigners that it profited from abortions. The policy change was after a months-long argument after the release of videos that showed the organization bargaining the price of fetal tissue. Don't get me wrong, we all know that they're still going to continue the organ harvesting of aborted baby tissue. They're just going to stop negotiating the price. If you think it's a coincidence that Planned Parenthood is backing away from their tissue sales now, then think twice. They're trying to protect their federal funding through Title X, which brings in about $100 million a year, and their fetal tissue sales probably brings in considerably less than that. So even just on a business basis, it's better to stick with Title X rather than risk losing everything. It will be interesting to see how much harvesting takes place. The videos made it clear that Planned Parenthood changed its procedures to acquire more soluble tissue, a clear violation of federal law, which underscored the desire for revenue enhancement. Without that incentive, and with its partners looking for cover, I suspect that the actual transmission of fetal tissue from Planned Parenthood clinics will plummet. The big question will be whether this changes the calculus in the defunding fight. Don't know if anybody tuned into the clown show there of the Democratic Party debate tonight. It was very low energy, as Donald Trump would say. Here's a few updates for you in case you missed it. It says, Senator Sanders says the only way Democrats can take on the right-wing Republicans is by having 1 million people coming together for free tuition at public colleges and raise the minimum wage to $15 an hour. Of course, he did not add the details how he was going to pay for that. And on recreational marijuana, Sanders says if he was in Las Vegas to legalize marijuana, he would vote yes, and he blasted the war on drugs. Hillary, of course, did not take a position on it yet since she has not taken a poll, and see how the wind blows that day. Sanders continued to blast America, saying we're an international embarrassment for not providing paid leave for families. And Hillary added on, said, how we're going to pay for it, we're going to have the wealthy pay for it. Of course, the wealthy aren't paying enough in this country, so they need to pay more. Of course, Hillary doesn't offer to pay a little bit extra herself for the people. And one of the funniest parts is when Clinton was asked how she would be different from Obama, the only thing she could say is she would be the first woman president. Is that all she has is her gender? Come on, give me some leadership. Stay tuned to the Hem Report. Here's a pretty funny story, but sad at the same time. It says Susan Rice blames the Syrian conflict on climate change. Her most dramatic speech to date about climate change, National Security Advisor Susan Rice suggests climate change was partially responsible for the conflict in Syria and represents a looming threat to the entire world. In the years prior to the civil war breaking out in Syria, that country also experienced its worst drought on record. She said during a political speech at Stanford University, farming families moved en masse into urban centers, increasing political unrest and further priming the country for conflict. An alarmed Rice warned that climate change was an advancing menace that portended doom for the nations around the world. Today, we face no greater long-term challenge than climate change.